You've probably either seen someone, known someone, at a minimum, heard of somebody that's going through this stage in life. And they call this a midlife crisis. And I don't know if that's accurate because it usually, oftentimes, happens between, like, say, I don't know, 40 and 58, roughly. There's a pretty good chance that you're not going to live to 80 to whatever, 116. Be that as it may, that's about the time that this generally happens. Not always. A lot of times it happens in the 30s. Anyway, they call this thing a midlife crisis. And you'll see like Bob from The Office. And all of a sudden he starts growing out what little bit's left of his hair. And he put in a little ponytail like he's just rocking it, because he's just got the culvert, and that's not Bob's fault. But the hair thing, I don't know, but that's what he's doing. And maybe he starts dressing differently. And all of a sudden, he's got like a Corvette, a convertible Corvette, because everybody's got to see me. Maybe he gets some tattoos. Now, all this stuff is pretty well harmless, I guess. Women especially seem to have a problem with the male midlife crisis. It's like, we just look at him. It's just gross. It is kind of a little bit sad to watch somebody go through this. And generally what's happening is something major has happened. Maybe mom and dad have died finally. You got that age in life where some kind of anchor in your life has passed on. And for whatever reason, it struck you on a personal level. And I'm just going to live my life, man. Life is too short. Well, A, it is too short. B, you should have been doing that all along. But anyway, and women really harshly judge this guy. I think it's, like I said, a little bit sad, but it's kind of humorous, really. He starts listening to the classic rock. Maybe he starts doing a bunch of traveling. He's going here, he's going there. He's going to cigar lounges. He's playing cards all of a sudden, taking up all these kind of strange habits that he didn't do before. It's weird. Now, is that really the case? Or maybe this isn't a crisis necessarily, but something Bob had always wanted to do, but society told him he needed to do the right thing. Maybe the guy always wanted a Corvette, a convertible Corvette. He just did, because that's what he wanted. But he got out of business school or college or whatever, and pretty soon finds himself married. Maybe has a couple kids, and the responsible thing to do is to get a minivan or some kind of Lincoln Town Car or something. That kind of defines your job as a realtor. You're setting an impression. This profession, society has all these expectations that they've placed on you. And his whole life, maybe. He's lived by these so-called expectations. I don't know why people tend to do that, but they do. And maybe it's just a case of, maybe it's a divorce. That's oftentimes what springs it. And all of a sudden, Bob's got extra money that nobody else has a claim to. And he gets to keep it, and he gets to do whatever he wants with it. And what he wants is what he's always wanted. He always wanted a Camaro with he always wanted the hard top, whatever, Jeep, something. He always wanted to travel. And so he's doing it. And yeah, he looks goofy with the little ponytail. And he's trying to dig on the Led Zeppelin, but it's like 50 years beyond. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't guess. I mean, it's pretty well harmless. Like I said, women seem to find this just abhorrent. Probably because they're not there to instruct it and get their hands on it and tell him everything that he's doing wrong. Whatever the case, Bob finally has either the finances or the position in life, or just doesn't care anymore. And he can kind of do whatever he wants, and he does. And they call this a midlife crisis. It's a crisis now. Guy's gone plumb off the deep end. And he's getting tattoos and stuff, and it's like, what's going on with Bob? What is he doing? I saw him at the traffic light the other day. He had the top down. He's got frickin' Zeppelin 2 blaring. It's bizarre. Again, maybe he's just finally to that point in life where he can do whatever he wants to do, and he's going to do it. Conversely, I've seen women go through this too. That's a pretty ugly thing. What it ultimately amounts to is a whole bunch of bad decisions, really. It's the same type scenario, but then they're dyeing their hair or they're cutting it all off because heaven forbid we show any kind of femininity, Get rid of that first thing. Again, with the tattoos. I don't care if you got tattoos or not. Ain't none of my business. It's harmless. It just looks bad on old men and old women. Wrinkled up old skin, and I'm getting it too, don't get me wrong, but I ain't out, having people color on it with painful crayons. You do what you want. But these women, they get the tattoos, and there's usually, it's gonna be girls' night out. Whew. Yeah, baby. Again, you missed that boat, because what you're doing was something valuable, which was rearing a family, raising up your kids, maybe putting sacrifices of your own. You're doing your own sacrifices for the betterment of your family, just like the guy did. The whole thing strikes me as odd, and I've seen it. I haven't had too many friends go through it, but you know people, you see people go through it. And it's usually some life-defining moment. Maybe not life-defining, that's a bad choice of terms, but a really big thing. You go through a divorce, that's a big thing. You go through the death of your parents or a really close loved one, that's a big thing in life. So it's just the kind of shifting, and sometimes people stop and say, well, what about, they always told me I couldn't have long hair. Well, by God, I want to see what it's like to have long hair. Now, yeah, most of it's gone. Hey, I'm losing some shingles too. But they're going to grow out the little ponytail. It's harmless. Do as you see fit. I think the bigger thing, seems like to me, is that whatever this societal expectation, I never put any stock into that crap. Who is society, specifically? And who the hell are they to tell me how to live my life? But be that as it may, these expectations that are put on people, and some people buy into that lock, stock, and barrel, and that, well, I should drive the minivan. Yeah, it's ugly. I mean, they're functional. I'd love to have one as a work vehicle, actually. But you just ain't cool when you're 26 and rocking the minivan. But that's what is expected of you, and so you go do that. You're expected to give your all at the company, even though they don't give two craps about you, let alone one. People buy into this stuff, and they do whatever is put upon them. And when all those confinements are lifted, they find themselves like, well, really, now that I think about it, I can do anything I want. As long as I'm not harming anybody else, who cares what people think? Well, personally, like I said, I've thought that all along. Who cares? They don't pay my bills. They don't have any say in my life. I'll do what I want to do. So I dress like a hobo when I go in public. You're less likely to get robbed that way. Anyway, it's just interesting to me. The whole thing's fascinating, honestly. And again, if you're not hurting anybody else, go do what you want to do. Nobody cares. I don't care if you got a little ponytail and you're rocking Led Zeppelin. There's some good music in there. But it is fascinating to watch people's responses to that. And if nothing else, kind of, in a certain way, I'm like a voyeur. Not in a creepy way. Just, I find things interesting to watch people and watch them come to these great revelations that I've known since I was like 15. Well, some of us are a little more advanced than others, I guess, when it comes to great revelations. I can do whatever I want. If I want to go to Tahiti, well, I can. Yeah, I need a new roof, but if you want to do that, go do it. I don't care. But some people get really mad about this. We just look at him. Just trying to act like he's 14, 16. What the hell difference does it make to your life? None. I mean, just sit back and watch. Like, hey, go Bob. You rock that Pink Floyd, buddy. Who cares? But what I was saying about societies, I think it's the whole system, like the government thing. They you ought to be happy because they're pouring money into that economy, and you can get tax revenue off of that. But they want people in defined, known, compartments. Yeah, this guy's no threat to us. He's driving a minivan. It's just fascinating. I don't know where I'm going with this. Other than you've probably known somebody, or maybe you are somebody that had a midlife crisis. You go, girl, I guess. I don't know. Fascinating to watch one unfold. Hey, you can put your comments down in the comment section. That's why they have a comment section. So you can put your comments in it. I like reading them. I do thank you for watching. I do appreciate your time. I'll see you next time.